Hello. I'm a bit bright. Let me adjust that. Ooh, how's that? Look at the colour. The colour's a bit weird in here. Hello, is anybody here? I see there's some comments already on the live stream chat. So hopefully you can see me and hear me. Let me just look at the comments. If one of you could just say that if you can see me or hear me, so that I know that you're there and I'm here. I'm just going to adjust this and hopefully not drop the thing this time like I did last time. Amy. Hello, Amy. Thank you. So here I am, quick live stream. I don't know how long this one will go on. Thank you, Amy. Because I have got work, I leave for work at 6, but I just need to throw some clothes on and chuck some food in a bag. So yes, I thought I would do a live stream because it's difficult now. So I started doing shift work, or I started my set of shifts yesterday, last night. So that's all my socialising done for Christmas now. And then I thought, you know, I kind of want to socialise with my fragrance friends, and it would be nice to squeeze it in this format, and I don't have to leave the house, and I can wear my pyjama bottoms, which you can't see, but I'm in my comfy pyjama bottoms at the moment. And so I see Tracy's here. Hi, Tracy. Let's have a look. And we've got Amy in the house, Tracy, and I am going to be talking about fragrances I've purchased this year. So initially I was thinking I might just do everything I got this year. Hello, Stephen. Hi. Thank you. Merry Christmas. I was going to do everything that I got this year. I got sent a few bottles from companies as well, which was really nice, but I decided just to keep this to what I purchased, or there's a couple of presents that I've received as well, and I'll keep it to that because that way you can see exactly where I'm coming from, because obviously when you get sent things, it's not necessarily because you love them or you particularly wanted to try that perfume. So these are all things I either bought myself with my own money or a couple that were gifted to me. Hi, Rich Mitch. And so let's get a bit more comfy. And I've got Sweetie. You can't see her. She is just sat right next to me down here. I might get her to do a little squeak. So listen. Oh, no, she just kind of, oh, here she comes. So she's now going to try and get on my lap, but there's a laptop on here as well. So now she's looking herself. Sorry, you can't see that. Here she comes. Okay, so Sweetie is in the building. I'm going to use her tail as a microphone. Will that work? Do you want to, I'll give you a little look at her face, because here she is. She's purring. Can't really see her face. Look, there she is. Good girl. Such a good girl, Sweetie. Such a good girl. Best companion ever, this cat. Don't go over there though. All the perfumes are over there, so she will knock them over. So Amy says hi to Sweetie. Oh, she's treading on the keyboard. You're going to make me all fluffy. It doesn't matter, I'll be wearing a jumper over this top anyway. So I've got on my left here, you can't see them, but I've got everything that I bought and kept this year. So there's quite a few things that I bought and passed on, swapped or sold, but everything that I still have is here, I think, apart from a couple that I lent to Dan. There's a couple of bottles I've bought recently that I've lent to Dan, so they're not here. So I think, Sweetie, you need to get off my lap because this just isn't working. Okay, good girl. Sweetie hair's everywhere now. So let's start. In no particular order then. So fairly recent acquisitions of mine were these. Sweetie. So she's now licking the laptop. So I bought these colognes. I've got 3 of them. This one's the violet one. This is gorgeous. It is a cologne concentration, so it's not heavy, it's not sort of super long lasting, but it's so fun. I'm just going to dab a little bit on my hand there. It's just nice to pour. I pour a little bit in the bath. I mean, I should put it in an atomizer and then just spray sort of fabric and stuff. So I like to spray my pillows. find it really nice, comforting. It's kind of like a chalky, slightly sweet palm. It's almost like Parma Violets, even the texture of the Parma Violet sweet, the chalky violet sweet. But it's almost got a slight hint of almond or like a cherry almond-esque note to it as well. So these were really cheap. They were about, I think they were sort of like £12 for 125 ml. And so I got this one, which is the violet one, definitely my favourite. The house is called, I think it's Cadenza. Yeah, Cadenza. So Cadentia, Cadenza Parfums. And they are based in France. So that was my favourite of the three. No, I bought four. I've got three here. The other one I got was, what's it called? Heliotrope. So heliotrope is a note in fragrance I really love. It's kind of almondy, florally and powdery at the same time. So I got this one. And yeah, it does have that almondy. I'm going to just cover myself in all these different perfumes. Hello to Bieber Bird from Toronto, hello, and Souli52, hiya, Merry Christmas, thanks for joining in. So this one's called Heliotrope, and it smells kind of like you'd expect heliotrope to smell like. What is a good example of heliotrope? There's one by Caron called Farnashana, but it's probably not that well known. It kind of reminds me a little bit of that. It's slightly powdery, slightly sweet. It's not actually as powdery as I imagined it would be, but it's got a sharpness to it as well. I don't like it as much as the violet, but it is quite nice. I might try and just layer it, but they are quite light. They're not strong. They're not eau de toilette, and they're not eau de parfum. They are colognes, and they behave like a cologne, so you get the same performance or similar to what you might get from 4711, but they're still fun to just spray with abandon because they're so cheap. So £12 a bottle, so I quite like those just as a fun thing. And this one's the rose one. This is a very watery, sweet, almost like rose water. It smells like rose water that you use in cooking. It's refreshing and sweet, a bit old-fashioned, I guess. And I got these because of Katie Puckrick. So her blog online, which is just Katie Puckrick Smells, she mentioned this, and I looked it up and I thought, yeah, I'm just going to buy them because they're cheap and they could be fun. And then I got Dan the Fougere one. I'm not sure if it's called Fougere or Fern or something like that, but he liked that, so it's a typical kind of barbershop brute-like scent. But he loves all that kind of stuff. He loves the things you could just slap on with abandon, so he's got that one. So they are a company called Cadenza, based in France, very cheap. And then let's move on to this one. I bought it, and I bought it to split. So as you can see, a lot of the juice is missing because I split it. I sold a lot, and it's called Eclat d'Almond. So it's an almond fragrance. That's why I chose it. The company's Comptoir Sud Pacifique, and this is the 100ml. I think it's 100ml. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, it's the bigger one, and it kind of didn't meet my expectations because people were saying it smelled like marzipan, and then when I smelt it, it reminds me of Le Mail by Jean Paul Gaultier, which I like. I have a vintage bottle, but it's, you know, the smoothness that you get from Le Mail. So not the neroli, not the bubblegummy sweetness, but that smooth, musky, I'm not sure if it's cardamom, but that smooth, musky, clean, but quite heavy note that you get in Le Mail is what I get from this, and it doesn't have a great deal of development. It's really nice. It's the kind of your skin but better. If you went quite lightly with this, It's that your skin but better, like you're wearing a really nice, thick, rich, expensive body lotion. That's the feel I get from that, which is nice, but it's not quite, it didn't live up to what I wanted it to be. I wanted a noticeable marzipan note, and that's not what I got. So this is actually being kind of sat on its own in a little place where I put things that I'm probably going to sell. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to keep it just because I've not really used it, but actually it is nice. It's really nice. So I am a little bit on the fence, but has anyone tried this one? Eclat d'Armand Comptoir Sud Pacifique. Let me know. Jasmine Banbury, Merry Christmas Claire, have a fragrant new year. I'm sure you will. Thank you very much, and to you too. So has anyone tried Eclat d'Armand? Let me know. I'm going to pop that over there. Let's go. So Tracy from Comfort in Sense is in the building. So this was a purchase I made because of Tracy. Tracy sent me a sample of Victorian Picnic. I saw that you were chatting with Amy earlier about Victorian Picnic. I think Amy said she's picked it up now as well because of Tracy. So Tracy, you are an enabler. And Victorian Picnic, Solstice Scents is a beautiful gourmand, but it's so different to anything else. Tracy sent me a small sample of it and I just had to have it. And this one has a kind of green floral note that's a bit light. Now I do mix my flowers up. I think it's a hyacinth. You know, they're quite herbal bushes that attract loads of insects, and they've got purple flowers. Kind of smells like that, but with this sweet underlying cakes and stuff and scones and cream, and it's just delectable. But because it's got this fresh greenish herbal element, it never feels too sweet. It's really nicely balanced. It never feels like too fakingly sweet, even though there's quite a lot of sweetness in here. That's one that I really enjoy, and that's another one that I have split. So I have sold, I haven't used all of that this year, I have sold some of that. I do really enjoy this fragrance when I'm in the right mood for it. I really like it. Glad to have it. Amy loves that scent. Jasmine needs to try it. Yeah, I recommend trying it. It's got a really nice development. It really changes on your skin, which is something that's important to me, particularly with gourmands. Otherwise I can get sick of them quite easily, but with this I don't, because it does change quite quickly. The last half of the fragrance is very vanilla heavy, so I might get a bit bored come hour 7, but where it's been mostly vanilla, but then I'll just put something else on top, which is fine. So no, I really like that one, and do recommend it for gourmand lovers. So let's see what else. Let's stay on a gourmand hit then. And I haven't got everything. I haven't got both fragrances I bought from this company because Dan's borrowed one. But this is Kai's Perfumes. I got Coco a la Vanilla, so coconut and vanilla. And I also got their marshmallow one, which is called Delicia di Marshmallow. And Dan's got that one. He really likes that. And these are gorgeous gourmands. They're very rich. I think Kai's Perfumes use quite a lot of natural vanilla, which is, in this day and age, really quite amazing because it is so expensive to get hold of. But a really gorgeous. This one got me compliments in the chemist. I went to the chemist quite a long time ago now, back in the summer I think, and the 3 ladies that were in there working, there was 2 behind the counter and 1 sort of in front of the counter doing something, and one of them exclaimed, "What is that smell? That smells delicious. Who is that?" And I was like, might be me. And they all loved it. I had to write down what it was. They said I smelled like holidays, and yeah, this one really does smell like holidays. It's probably not the most unique scent you're ever going to smell. There are a lot of coconut and vanilla combinations out there, beachy style scents, but it is very nicely done. And then the Delicia di Marshmallow, I would say, is more unique. It's a fluffy, molten marshmallow with just a hint of the powdery outside of a marshmallow. Has a tiny hint of rosiness to me. It's gorgeous, really, really gorgeous. And I need to try more. There's a praline one that they've released this year that I haven't tried yet. So hopefully I will get that for myself in the new year and see what that one's like. But I think Kai's perfumes, because they're affordable, these are only $23. That's a 15 ml, $23. They're quite concentrated as well, so you don't have to spray lots. They're not sort of fresh type fragrances. They are heavy. They do have a lot of gourmand elements, so they last really well and very, very affordable. So Kai's perfumes, I got Coco a la Vanilla and Delizia di Marshmallow. Has anyone tried those or any others from Kai's that you particularly recommend? So Amy bought Coco a la Vanilla this year too. Lovely vacation scent. Yeah. Yeah, Bee Baba, they are honestly really delicious. They just feel quality, and it's hard to explain why, but they feel quality to me. They just feel kind of rich and delicious, definitely. So I'm going to get on to my 4160 Tuesdays fragrances because there's quite a few here. So actually I'll start with my scent of the night tonight, and I'm wearing Clouds Illusion Eau de Parfum. That's this one. So I got on board their crowdfunding event and I got this, which is the 50 ml of Clouds Illusion Eau de Parfum. And I also got the 30 ml of the Parfum Clouds Illusion again. So there's Clouds Illusion, and the Illusion versions are the cheaper ones to get because they have synthetic iris, synthetic vanilla, synthetic narcissus. There might be something else as well that's synthetic. There are naturals in here, but the really, really expensive stuff is made with synthetics. If you buy the more expensive version, it's just called Clouds, and it doesn't have a synthetic. It has natural iris, natural vanilla, natural narcissus, which are super, super highly expensive ingredients. So that's why the fragrances are more expensive. But what I really love about the concept is that you get to test one against the other. So in the package you get a sample of the one you didn't buy. So because I bought Clouds Illusion, I got a sample of Clouds, and I got a Clouds EDP and a Clouds Parfum sample so that I can test them side by side. And I kind of did a little bit, but not to any degree that I could say one is better than the other. I prefer one over the other. I still need to do that really to examine it, but they're all good. The two concentrations though, so I've got Illusion Parfum, Illusion Eau de Parfum. The two concentrations have differences that make it, for me, worthwhile having both. So the Eau de Parfum is definitely a lot fresher in the opening, and the Parfum is kind of, as you would expect, richer. You get a lot more noticeable orris, a noticeable kind of cloudy, thick, slightly sweeter, richer elements. So I really love both. I decided to do the Eau de Parfum for work tonight. Who knows, I might end up popping a bit of the Parfum on top because, you know, we can, can't we? We can do what we want. So has anyone tried any of the Clouds Illusion from 4160? I think that they were my favourite from the house this year. From 4160 Tuesdays, I really, really love these fragrances. They are this perfect all seasons versatile fragrance because there's a freshness but there's also a richness, so you can wear them literally any weather, any season, any occasion. They're quite likable. They're not, there's nothing too weird, but they're unusual enough that they definitely get my attention. So they were yeah, definitely a highlight actually of the year. I think really, really nice fragrances. They feel like they were made with love and time. which I don't know how you can tell that, but sometimes you just feel that something's been made with love and time. Does anyone else get that sometimes? Okay, so we'll stay with 4160 Tuesdays. So another pickup of mine was their Centerpiece Parfum, and this is the Honey Monster version, as they affectionately call it. Basically, it was an accident, and one of the guys at 4160 Tuesdays, I think, accidentally overdosed the honey in the Centerpiece Parfum, and so that has resulted in a honeyer version of the Centerpiece Parfum. Now, I'd never tried the Centerpiece Parfum, but I did have, or still have actually, a small bottle of Centerpiece Eau de Parfum, which I really love. And I always wanted to try the Parfum just to see if there was any differences. And then it came up as a deal because it was an accident. They sold the Honey Monster version off cheaper on the website. If you want to know how to find out about these deals and to get on board with them, if you're a fan of 4160 or you want to learn about them, go and join their Facebook page. It's called 4160 Tuesdays News, and there Sarah McCartney and sometimes her husband Nick or a member of the team will update everybody on the latest happenings at 4160 Tuesdays HQ, because there's always something going on, whether it be a special thing just for the group members, deals, really great generous offers, and the opportunity to buy some of the fragrances for a much cheaper price just because of whatever's going on. So I completely recommend joining that group. The Centerpiece Parfum Honey Monster version. So Centerpiece is frangipani, green tea. I think there's a chocolatey note. I'm not sure, could be wrong. Definitely honey, and yeah, the honey is stronger in here, but it doesn't smell like you're sniffing a jar of honey. It's more like a honeyed syrup, and almost like treacle with just a honeyed element, rather than that. Honey can be quite medicinal. This doesn't ever go medicinal. It doesn't go pissy on me. It's just really lovely. It's very rich. It's a bit sweet. It's very textured. It has a velvet texture. When I smell it, I feel velvet, if that makes sense. It's a really gorgeous, floral, slightly gourmand fragrance, and I'm really pleased to have Centerpiece Parfum, the Honey Monster edition. So, I mean, I don't think it is just for the UK. If you go in the group, there's probably more for the UK, because some of the things are just coming from, I think, the UK office, the UK studio. But you might find that there's things that you want to know about even if you're not in the UK, if that makes any sense. But I'm not sure. Just join the group and you'll see. You can always leave it if it's not for you. So next one then, Burnt Cedar Rainbow Doves was another 4160 Tuesdays one. This is a smoky cedary scent, but it's not like you're standing right by a bonfire. It's almost like you've stumbled upon a bonfire that's just gone out, and you just get a little that smoke. There's some almond in here, which is why I wanted to try it, but the almond is never that strong to my nose. I don't pick up on it so much as just get a bit of a sweetness in the dry down, but that's me. And when if you watch Wafts from the Loft, when it was not Joe, Dan, it was Dan, when he sniffed it and he didn't know anything about it, he exclaimed marzipan straight away. So some people really notice the marzipan, but for me, I don't know why, I just don't really notice it so much, as more of a smoky scent with a bit of sweetness, but still a really nice one, really different and unusual. Has anyone tried that one? And then another one I have here is a Drive Them Wild. Drive Them Wild. And this one is an Orange Blossom Gourmand. Oh, Eugene's in the building. Hello, Eugene. Hot stuff. I don't know about that, but thank you. Drive Them Wild is a vanilla and orange blossom gourmand. The closest thing I can put it to is Lyra from Xerjoff or Tender Madeleine from Le Gourmand Santerre, I think it's called. And it's very rich, orangey vanilla. That's not, and it's much more than that, but that's the best way I can describe it. Drive Them Wild. If you like orangey gourmands, then you might like that one. Let's see. And then we have Red Queen. I think this was this year, wasn't it? I wasn't sure, so I was going to check and then I ran out of time as always. So Red Queen was a collaboration with Saff Le Bon and Sarah McCartney, and this is a rose fragrance, but it's a spicy rose. It's actually changed, even just smelling it from the lid. It's really peppery, which I don't remember. I need to spray it. I think just spray it like that. It's a rich rose incense with spices. I think there's some cinnamon. It's quite a hot, spicy fragrance. It's actually really changed with time. So I think when I first got it and I sprayed it, I was not too sure how I felt about it. I think it's got a lot better. It's much richer now than it was. More, I feel like it's more spicy than it was. It's hotter, really peppery, which I hadn't really picked up on before, but quite an interesting one. I still need to explore it really. It's kind of sat there a little bit unloved because of my first initial impressions. This is another one that I split, so I haven't worn all of that. I sold some on just to subsidise the purchase, which I do quite a lot. Works for me. So Red Queen is a rosy, incense, spicy, peppery scent. Has anyone tried Red Queen? Amy, Claire, I have to run, I have to go do family stuff. Thank you for the lovely live stream. I will watch the rest later. Merry Christmas to you and sweetie. Thanks, Amy. Thanks for joining, and I hope you have a lovely time with your family and the kids don't run you too ragged. So I think that's all of the 4160 Tuesdays. So let's move on to a brand that's sort of connected actually to 4160 Tuesdays. So I'm talking about Bedo perfumes, and I have here Hibou and Chouette from Bedo, and I met the perfumer Amanda Bedo back when I went to Essence in Milan, and she recognised me because of my reviews on 4160 Tuesdays. Amanda's done some studying with Sarah McCartney, and they have an ongoing business arrangement where Amanda can use the studio at 4160 Tuesdays. So they are quite closely connected. Amanda won the Art and Olfaction Artisan Award, I think it was this year, and that was for her perfume Chez Noir, which was the very first perfume that she actually put out in collaboration with her friend who has a vineyard. So we just got chatting, we went for a coffee, I smelt some of her fragrances, and I really enjoyed it because I'd been at Essence for a couple of days. I had smelt so much. You get overwhelmed. Everything starts to smell a bit the same. You just, you know, if you go perfume sniffing, you go into a few department stores or whatever, you smell too much and then everything smells a bit mediocre. So I was at that point, burnt out, nose burnt out. And then when I smelled the fragrances from Bedo, I was excited, and that hadn't happened. So that hadn't happened for a couple of days because I was nose burnt out. But there was something so special and unique about these fragrances that it overrode the fact that my nose was burnt out, and it got me excited again. And so I went away, she gave me samples, and I ended up falling in love with both Chouette and Hibou. So I'll tell you a little bit about the scent. So Hibou is, it's an orangey, woodsy, orange floral woodsy kind of cocktail medley. It's really bold, it's really out there. There's nothing too challenging, but it's a very bold fragrance. You can see the colour of the liquid there. That kind of helps to give you an idea of how it actually smells. It's not something I wear all the time, but it's a kind of party scent for me. It's definitely one to wear when I feel like I want to get noticed. Lots of woodsiness, but still this rich, orangey, syrupy, floral thing. Really, really nice. And these labels, she hand makes them. She's Amanda is an artist. She hand makes these labels. They're a thick texture. I think they're from recycled fabric, but I could be wrong. And she does everything herself, and I love that. And I do love the artisans, especially when there's love and attention to detail involved. So that one's Hibou, and then the other one I got more recently. So I got Hibou first earlier in the year, and then I recently got the smaller bottle of Chouette. So this is a 15ml, and Chouette, see, it has some similar notes, but Chouette is a lighter, a little bit more fresh. Just gonna spray a little bit. A little fresh, a little green, a little bit aniseedy as well. Really, I find them really difficult to describe. They are not like anything else, and that's why I love them. They are quite unique, but they're not too challenging, and I don't like anything too challenging. So I'm really pleased to have both of those in my collection. Has anyone else tried anything by Bedo? Have you tried the award-winning one, Chez Noir? That one is fresh. It's kind of like, it's not fresh as in it's just a citrus. It's green, but in an outdoorsy green way, almost like so it's based on a vineyard, almost like unripened grapes. There's a texture to it, like you know how bitter fruits or unripened fruits can make your mouth go dry. Somehow Chez Noir has this element to it. It's really nice. It's not quite for me because it's probably not quite sweet enough for me. It's not a gourmand, but it's really refreshing. A perfect spring or a nice early autumn daytime type scent, outdoorsy. DC Jim R, happy Christmas Eve. Claire, thank you very much. Happy Christmas Eve to you too. I don't know why I do this. Have you noticed that I move, I bob a little bit when I'm talking? That's something that I need to address, I think. So let's now move on to, I'll go to the fragrances that I was gifted by, actually they're all from Dan. So for, I think it's my birthday, he picked up a couple of vintage unicorns on eBay, said he got them for bargain prices. So he got me Midnight Poison by Dior. So what a beautiful bottle, absolutely love that. This is a tester bottle, so it has the notes on the back and it's nice and full. And I'll give you the notes: Damascene Rose Essence, Patchouli, Amber Accord. This is really rich. To me, it smells incensey. Patchouli is, just give it a little spray. The patchouli is very present and noticeable. It smells like incense, patchouli in a kind of like rich patchouli, not a dry, powdery patchouli. It's quite rich and syrupy. And then the rose is a deep and dark rose, almost like a woody rose, rather than a fresh, you know, lady rose, if you know what I mean. It's lovely to have it in my collection. It's probably not that me. I need to be brave and just wear it, but I'm not always a fan of anything with strong patchouli. But I do need to give this a proper wearing and see what I think of it. So that was gifted to me by Dan. And then the other one that was gifted to me by Dan was by Dolce & Gabbana, by woman, Dolce & Gabbana. And this one I'm not entirely sure if the top notes are spoiled, because it has this celery, dry celery smell, which I've smelt before. I had a sample of this and that also had the same scent, but I feel like maybe it doesn't fare too well with age, or maybe it's supposed to smell like a little bit like celery. I'm not sure, but either way, it's nice to have an iconic, classic, well sought after kind of unicorn bottle there. But I probably won't actually wear that one, but it's good to have. So they were gifted to me by Dan. And then I'm going to talk about this one randomly. I got this one on a Facebook group, and it's the Alien, what's it called now? Liqueur, that was it. Alien Liqueur de Parfum. So this is the one that has a rum note to it. It's quite similar to Alien Essence Absolute, if you know that one. And also the Taste of Fragrance Alien. Similar to both of those, but this has an rum aged in oak barrels note. So it's slightly different, but if I'm completely honest, you don't need it if you've got Alien Essence Absolute, and I wouldn't go mad trying to find it because it doesn't come up very often. It's actually quite hard to get hold of. Just turned out that someone was selling it, and someone tagged me because they knew I was interested, because I'd done a couple of videos on the Taste of Fragrance, I think it was, and the Essence Absolute. So I got tagged and I thought, no, I'm gonna have that because it's a bit of a unicorn. And yeah, but it's very similar to Essence Absolute, which is still, it's discontinued, but that one's quite easy to find. You'll find it on eBay for reasonable prices. It's still in European duty-free shops. When I was in Gran Canaria early this year, a lot of the shops still had it. So you'll find it in sort of in European duty-free shops, but it's just not in the UK. But yeah, Alien Liqueur de Parfum, really rich and vanillic, slightly boozy fragrance with that hint of alien DNA, but not as bold and as massively projecting as Alien. However, I've heard that Alien has been reformulated very recently, and apparently it's a weaker, more thinner version of what it used to be. Let me know if you know about that. I'm talking about the original Alien now, which was always very thick and heavy and massively projecting, and now apparently it's changed around the time that Mugler got bought out by, can't remember what company, but the bigger conglomerate corporate company. So let me know if you know anything about that. I saw that information watching Mila Leblanc. I don't know if any of you guys follow her. She's a Russian descent, living in Switzerland, beautiful girl with the attitude of someone who doesn't give a flying fuck. I love to watch her because she's so refreshing. She is so honest, it's like brutally honest. And but she does talk a lot about perfumes. She talks about the same ones quite often because she's just talking about the ones that she loves. But she mentioned that Alien has been reformulated, that her new bottle just did not smell the same as the ones that she's had in the past. So let me know if you know anything about that, or what you have heard about Alien. And I think I'm going to go on to, I'm going to talk about some of my eBay pickups, eBay blind buys. There's a couple here. So these are in the same line as the Hypnotic Poison. I picked up this Hypnotic Poison Au Secret. Yeah, so the same line as the Midnight Poison, but this is Hypnotic Poison Au Secret. So Hypnotic Poison is the almond vanilla fragrance, and it seems to be the most popular from the Poison line. And I hadn't even heard of Eau Secret. You can see the shape of the bottle's different there. And this one is, I think it's an eau de toilette. This is another tester. And the notes are on the back. So I've got mandarin, jasmine, sambac and vanilla. And it does remind me of Hypnotic Poison. I don't have Hypnotic Poison to do a side by side, but I don't know if I've got, let's go on some, I've got something there. Let's go here. How am I doing for time? I don't know what the time is. It's not, no, it's not up there. Just thinking about when I've got to get ready for work. So Hypnotic Poison, Eau Secret definitely does still have that almond note, even though it's not listed on the back here. It has this sweet almondy feel, but you can smell the orange, you can sense the orange. It's giving it a little bit of a freshness. It's really, really nice. If you like almond gourmands, then yeah, it's really nice, but I don't know how easy that will be to find. You'd have to be quite patient, because I'd never seen it before until I saw it. It came up in a deal with, I bought it in a bundle, and I had to get this one as well, which is Poison Girl Eau de Toilette. And I got them for a good price. I can't remember how much. The Poison Girl Eau de Toilette is screechy, sharp, sickeningly sweet, sugary caramel. Gets better once you've worn it for a while, and the caramel it starts to smooth out, but it's so sickeningly sharp and sweet to start with. It's not really a favourite of mine, so I'll probably put that, I've been meaning to review it, and then I'll probably put that one up for sale on eBay, because it's just not for me. It's too sweet, far too sweet. If you like super sweet stuff, it might be for you, but no. Very sharp florals. I don't think this one's a tester. This is a proper bottle, but yeah, not for me, that one. I mean, it should be, but it's just not quite right for me. Too sweet, far too sweet. Hurts my teeth just to sniff it. Quite like the bottle there. I don't know if you can see that, but it's black. It's kind of gothic, really, isn't it? Black. Makes you think of the wicked stepmother giving the apple to the whoever, Cinderella or whatever, Snow White. You know what I mean, don't you? It's got that fairy tale sort of evil iconic thing. So no one's talking at the moment. Can you still hear me? Just checking. Just checking. Anyone still there? Are you listening? Shall I carry on? Someone tell me the time. Oh, is it on here? Can't see it. I haven't got my watch on. If someone could tell me the time, that would be handy in the UK. So in the meantime, I'm going to tell you about Bengal Rouge. This is probably one of my favourite pickups from this year. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Tracy. Just nice to know that you're still there and I'm not rambling on my own here. So I picked up Bengal Rouge from Papillon Perfumerie. Liz was kind enough to send me a sample. Liz Morse, the perfumer, sent me a sample and I loved it. 4:44 GMT. Thank you so much. That's perfect. That's great. Thank you, Tracy. Yeah, 4:45. Excellent. I'll probably cut it off in the next sort of 10-15 minutes or so. It'll be about an hour long then, and I'll get ready for work. So Bengal Rouge is a rich ambery honey scent. So honey in the opening. I wouldn't actually call it a honey scent because it's not honey after about the first hour, really. It's honey in the opening. Again, it's not that medicinal smelling, a pot of honey. It's more of a sweetened honey without that sharpness that you can sometimes get. But what I love about the fragrance is the dry down. It's amazing. Sorry, Cupcake Norma. Jean wanted to say earlier that I heard the takeover of Mugler doesn't actually happen until early next year. So if Alien has been reformulated, it would be unrelated or could be a conspiracy theory. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it seems there's quite a few people saying that it doesn't smell the same, and the bottle, the boxes have changed. So they're talking about, now it says Mugler and it used to say Thierry Mugler, but I understand that's not related to the takeover. That was prior to any talk of the takeover. They just removed the Thierry from the boxes, but don't know. It's all the thing with the perfume world, particularly with the big designer brands, is it's a lot of smoke and mirrors and cover-ups and reformulations that are not communicated, which I think is unfair, because if you've got a loyal following, particularly to a fragrance that's been out for years, an iconic, well-loved fragrance, I think you should be honest if you're changing the formula, because that's not fair. Because people will notice, and there are a lot of people, everyday human beings, that just buy the odd fragrance, probably think, oh, it must be me. I used to love this, now it's just not, it's not doing it for me anymore. Maybe my taste has changed, when in actual fact the fragrance has changed. I just think, just be honest, let people know about it. And going back to Bengal Rouge, Tracy loves Bengal Rouge, only got a bit of a sample left, but adore it. Yeah, it's so good. The dry down is, it's spicy. There's no spices in the notes, and I spoke to Liz Moores about the spiciness, and she hasn't included spices in the formula. They're not there, but the tonka is spicy. That's where the spiciness comes from, and it's beautiful. It's really warm and rich and spicy. You get the honey in the opening, and then in the dry down, it's like a big mug of frothy, milky hot chocolate with some caramelized resins. It's absolutely stunning, cozy as fuck, if you'll pardon my pun, no pun, not a pun, pardon my swearing there, but it really is cozy as fuck. Cozy, cozy, cozy. So we're getting there. Another pickup from an indie brand was The Lover's Tale from Francesca Bianchi. I also now have Cuir Soyer, which I've lent to Dan, so I don't have that here right now. And The Lover's Tale was my favourite, and is definitely my favourite from everything that Francesca Bianchi has done. I find it quite challenging for public wearing, but I love to smell it. And what I love to do, which seems a bit wasteful, is I like to spray it at night, and I love how it smells when I wake up in the morning. And I know that sounds a little bit crazy, and you know, it's not a cheap fragrance, but I just really love the far dry down of it, and it really does last that long that you can do that. It's one to wear sparingly. It's like an elixir. It would actually suit itself to being a dabber, to something where you just dab a little bit on and anoint yourself with it, because it's so rich. It is a leather fragrance, but I don't normally like leather. But this to me smells more like a suede-y silk with the iris making it powdery. It's another very cozy fragrance. In the dry down, it feels to me like it gets a bit vetiver-y, a little bit, yeah, a little bit woodsy. It's really sexy, really, really sexy. So Lover's Tale, I really love it. I feel like I want to wear it now, but I'm already wearing Clouds. So yeah, but I think I've got a wrist free. I'm going to do a wrist because I can. Just a little tiny bit because it's so strong. Love it. So I've got Cuir Soyer, which is a limited edition Francesca Bianchi, and that was in conjunction with the Perfume Lounge. And that one has heliotrope, leather, iris. It's a bit sweet and really love. In the dry down, it's absolutely stunning, but for me to fall in love with it, I have to wait a few hours. So I'm still getting to know that one, but it's definitely interesting and sexy, so we'll say that. So I picked up two from Francesca Bianchi this year. So Rich Mitch is wearing Bentley for Men Intense today, very sweet. Yeah, very rich and sort of boozy patchouli scent. Dan, Mr. Smelly, was very fond of that one. Um, Cupcake Norma Jean, still talking about the reformulations in Alien. Very true. None of us ever really know what's happening. It would be great if they could tell us if formulas must be changed, as for example, Zoologist has done recently, but it seems unlikely. Yeah, I think that's the thing with the indie brands. They are more honest about that, because I think they also understand their customers will notice, and why not just be transparent and let us know, and we can make our minds up. And yeah, just be honest. Just be honest and let the customer decide, because at the end of the day, they might buy one more bottle, but then they might not buy any more after that because they think they've fallen out of love with it. But yeah, so Rich Mitch is saying Dior Home line is being reformulated. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I saw it was Sarah McCartney from 4160 Tuesdays. There's she's part of IFRA, so she's a member of IFRA. So she said that I think they've got sort of a couple of years to reformulate a lot of fragrances, because they're now not just looking at the fragrance and how it affects your skin, but the fact that if you went in the shower and you used a shower gel and then you used a body lotion and then you sprayed a fragrance, then you're getting the effect of the 3 different chemical things on your skin. So they're now trying to they're reformulating, or they're insisting that there are reformulations to reduce certain irritants because of the accumulative effect that you might be getting from several products that you might be using on your skin. So a complicated world for perfumers, not something I could really cope with. Chemistry is not really my thing anyway, but must be an absolute ball ache with the laws that you have to comply with. So another eBay pickup that I got very recently is called Mikowski. I'm not sure if it's Mikowski or Mikowski, and it's a German brand. It's a fashion brand, and I picked it up on eBay as part of a deal that I did. The person selling had a few things of interest to me, so I got it as a package. And this one actually is similar to Hypnotic Poison, and I decided to go for it because of the almond note, because yeah, almond. So it does remind me of Hypnotic Poison. It's creamy, almondy, vanilla-y. I haven't worn it properly yet. I still need to test it. It's a tester and it has no lid. It's not the most aesthetically pleasing thing in the world. A bit, I kind of like the smashed, crushed bottle look. Bit like that Bang. Was it Bang by Victor and Rolf? Was it Victor and Rolf? Marc Jacobs, I think. But yes, you've got this crushed bottle appearance. I've not really seen this one talked about too much anywhere at all, but I just thought I'd go for it and see what it's like. Quite nice, but it needs a full wear-in to see what the development's like, and etc, etc. But anyone seen that one, heard of that one, tried that one? Mikowski. There's a female version and a men's version. So this is the Eau de Parfum. This is the female version, but there is one for men as well. Okay, we are really nearly there. So another eBay pickup. This was from the same person that just told me the Mikowski, and this is Fleur de Noël by Yves Rocher. It's another one that has almond in it, and this is discontinued. It was a limited edition. There's 2 types of this same name. So Fleur de Noël, the one that's getting all the love on Fragrantica, the one that sounds like much more me, is this one. This shape bottle with the silver flowers on the front. The other one apparently is not as great. So this is a cranberry and almond fragrance, if I recall. But it's, yeah, it's like fresh, sour, tart, red berries with an almond background. Still need to try it on skin properly, but quite nice. Glad to have it, what with it being discontinued. I do quite like to have some of those little unicorns in my collection, particularly the ones that have my favourite notes like almond, etc. Has anyone else tried Fleur de Noël from Yves Rocher? It's a French beauty brand. And in the same bundle, I got a backup bottle of My Insolence. I know I'm always talking about this one. So this year I discovered My Insolence, and I own 4 bottles and I have used up 1 small bottle. So I've actually, yeah. So I've purchased 5 bottles of My Insolence this year, all partials. And no, one of them's a full 30ml actually. So that came in that bundle with those other things. I love My Insolence. It's a raspberry and almond blossom, lots and lots of vanilla in the dry down. It's nothing groundbreaking, it just suits me very, very well. It's just beautiful. So yeah, My Insolence. And so I've just got the other small bottle there, and then I've got more bottles around the house. Then I think the last one, so final one, and this was purchased the beginning of the year in February when I went to Paris. So this is a B bottle of Le Plus Beau Jour de ma Vie by Guerlain, and I had at the time a small 60ml bottle. Their bottles for that particular fragrance are a pain in the arse. They have the big puffy atomizers. Apparently you shouldn't leave the atomizer in the bottle because it will go, the plastic thing will go wrong and react with the juice. Also, apparently if you leave that atomizer on, everything evaporates. It was just completely impractical, and it just wasn't, you don't want to keep taking the puffer on and off because you're just going to waste a lot of juice. So I ended up buying a 125ml B bottle, and then I actually filled the old 60ml bottle up and sold that on at cost, just to kind of justify it, because this was quite expensive. I can't remember how much, but I think it was over €300. But I do love this fragrance so much. So Le Plus Beau Jour de ma Vie it has sugared almonds, orange blossom, a hint of incense, lots of vanilla, a tiny hint of aniseed in the opening, which doesn't last too long, but it's really beautiful. Not like black licorice, it's more soft and sweet and spicy. It's just an absolutely stunning fragrance. I really love it. I wore it just the other night. Got a compliment on it from a lady in the pub. We were just chatting. She didn't really know I was into perfumes, and she said, "What are you wearing? I love it." It turns out she's quite into Guerlain as well, but more, she was not a frag head, so more the mainstream fragrances from Guerlain, but she really loved the perfume. And it's one of those, it's a long name, no one's ever going to remember it, but the most beautiful day of my life. I get it, they're trying to make it a wedding scent, I guess, but yeah, for me, I love it. So that was my treat to myself when I went to Paris back in February, and that is everything that I purchased, apart from the things I've sold on. That's everything that I've purchased this year. So I'm gonna bring the video to an end. Thank you everyone for watching. A Merry Christmas to you all. I've got a 12-hour night shift ahead of me. In here is just some squash. So cheers, this is my rainbow glass. Cheers everybody. Thank you for joining me. So DC Jim R, oh my goodness, it sounds beautiful. Yeah, it really is. Rich Mix. Foxy is going to see a lot of my money, you know. Foxy? What do you mean, Rich? Have I missed something? Okay, that's it. I am out of here. Get myself ready for work. Thank you everyone for joining. Oh, Fox's fragrances. Yes, sorry, yeah. Karen Fox. Thank you everyone for joining me, and I wish you all a lovely Christmas or whatever festive season. Have a lovely time, enjoy. If you've got time off and you get to spend it with friends and family, then I hope you have a lovely time. If not, then hugs to you too, and I will see you in the next video or whatever, or on Instagram or whatever. Bye.